Has the United States negotiated for the release of 2 of their citizens held hostage and gotten aid into Gaza? But is this real progress, or is it just symbolic victories before the Gaza invasion? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. Let's try to get some answers in today's Israel-Hamas daily update. Let's crack right into it. You guys know I try my absolute best here to be as unbiased as possible. I'm a neutral party. I try to just give you guys the information you need to form your own opinions. I know that's not really a popular thing to do in the media nowadays, but I appreciate you guys tuning in, and be sure to hit like if you appreciate this content. It helps tell the YouTube algorithm to show more of it. Okay, so let's talk about the last maybe 24 hours. Really, just 36 minutes ago, they've reported that the Rafah crossing, this is the crossing from Gaza into Egypt, is going to open and allow aid to enter. But here's the thing, guys, 36 aid trucks went into Gaza today. Remember, the population of Gaza is in the millions, and every person, you can assume, the rule of thumb in military planning is that every person that you have, they need about a gallon of water per person per day. They need about roughly a pound of food per person per day. And so you see how 36 trucks is mostly just symbolic. It's not really going to provide the relief, especially when you're talking about people in a war zone. People in the war zone, they need medical care. You're talking about pregnant women, young children, the very old, people with chronic illnesses, right? These aren't soldiers, right? So while you can have a 200-person company of soldiers run on just a truckload of food a day, when you're talking about civilians in a war zone, their needs are way more widespread. From getting insulin for diabetics, to providing ventilators to, extremely premature babies. You need so much to sustain a population of millions in a regular American city. So 36 trucks is basically just a symbol. Call it out where it is. This sounds like one of those things where the West probably negotiated very hard for these 36 trucks, and undoubtedly they will provide some probably life-saving aid to Gazans that need it. But let's not, pull a muscle here, patting ourselves on the back. This is not real relief. This is not a meaningful difference. This is symbolic, especially given that by most accounts, it sounds like the trucks are going to close immediately. According to a CNN observer on the Egyptian side, they said about 20 trucks went through. So 36, yeah, about right. And then immediately closed the border. So, we see that the Egyptians, as always, trying to do the right thing, the right looking thing, but certainly not exactly in a hurry to actually provide aid to Palestinians. And you guys probably know the relationship between the U.S. and Egypt pretty strained, given that Egyptian linked individuals, intelligence officials in all likelihood, who were linked to bribing a U.S. senator, a long-serving U.S. senator. So definitely a problematic and fraught relationship with a lot of dimensions. Now, let's talk about the 2 other stories. Hamas has announced that it released 2 U.S. citizen hostages, quote, for humanitarian reasons after Qatari efforts. Now, this, I believe the total number of hostages, U.S. citizen hostages held by Hamas is about 11. And so the fact that the Qataris have for a long time been seen as kind of an intermediary between the United States and many countries in the Arab world. Notably, Qatar and the Qataris hosted the peace talks between the Taliban and the United States throughout the Afghan war. So for 20 years, they were the host of those talks. And Hamas, of course, understanding the realities on the ground that that having U.S. hostages would probably incur more problems than they were likely to facilitate, right? The benefits of having U.S. citizens as hostages far outweigh the downsides, which means that the U.S. has a direct interest, likely U.S. intelligence, U.S. Special Forces, U.S. air power, all might be brought to bear on Hamas given that reality. Again, I think Hamas is starting to realize that this operation may have been a bit off more than they could chew. I don't think they were expecting the scope of the Israeli response, and I don't think they were expecting to walk in with just dozens and dozens of foreign nationals as hostages, which now suddenly are more of a burden than they anticipated. So, right, they say humanitarian reasons, but of course I want to point out that it's not clear that they have special medical needs or anything like that. They're just regular hostages. Now, then of course the other story is, right, headline news, of course, the Egypt-Gaza border opening and allowing in aid. But again, purely symbolic. This is just nothing but a symbol. So don't overthink and don't over encourage this. Now, guys, if you by chance signed up for Combat Vet News, this is my premium site. War content, YouTube doesn't like it, demonetizes me all the time. I've actually been kicked off of Patreon for covering the Ukraine conflict. So I launched my own premium site, Combat Vet News. You can become a member. Any one of these tiers will get you access to the members only content, where I basically just do this level of analysis of the war videos or the war stuff on the ground, right? So we look at sources, we look at where things are taking place, we try to learn about the tactics. And I know if you have signed up, we've had some issues with the video player, but I thank you guys for your patience. I think we've got it sorted out now. It's actually a user error on my part. I uploaded very, very big video files that hadn't been compressed at all. And the result was that they played very, very slowly. Anyway, that's really all I had for today, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.